My name's Debbie, and I'm going to help you with some yoga poses today. And first of all, I've got some things sitting around me. So these are props that we sometimes use in yoga. I'm sitting on a chair, so that's the prop, one of the primary props we're using today. And as you notice, my chair allows me to have my feet flat on the floor. If your chair is a little high or your legs are a little short, maybe you need to set your feet on a block, or this is a game box, or maybe a book, whatever, just so that your feet are comfortable and they're not dangling. And another prop that we might be using is a strap. And it could be a strap, it could be a belt, it could be a dish towel, it could be anything that you have around the house that's just easy to hold on to. So we'll just put those there as we might be using them. And the other thing I like to do when we start out a class is kind of give us something to think about as far as, I'm just calling it a thought for the day. And the one that I'd like for you to think about today as we do this class is laugh more. Children laugh dozens of times a day. Laughter decreases blood pressure and it relieves tension. Find something funny in your life today and laugh at it. Better yet, find something about yourself and laugh at it. So remember to laugh. Laughing is good for us. And to begin with, we usually also start our yoga classes with just a little quiet time, kind of directing our attention to ourselves. So sitting in your chair, just rest your hands on your thighs. Sit upright rather than leaning back. We don't want you to get too comfortable, but also close your eyes. And as we sit here, we're just going to notice what our breath is doing. We're not going to change how we're breathing, but we're going to notice how it feels. So maybe you notice that you rush to get here to class and it's a little short, a little choppy. Or maybe you notice that when you breathe in, it feels a little cool. And maybe you notice that you can feel that same cool air come down into your throat, or feel it lifting your chest. Just notice those things. Notice those things that happen in your body when all you have to do is breathe. Maybe you notice that you're a chest breather and only your chest lifts. Or maybe you notice, like a baby breathes, that you breathe all the way down into your belly. So maybe you put your hand on your belly and see if you can feel which, and maybe a hand on your chest, and see which way you're breathing. Both of them work just fine, and we use both kinds of breaths through different times of the day and different activities. But relaxing breaths usually start in your belly. They usually, if you were to have your hand on your belly as you breathe in a relaxing breath, you'd feel that belly expand. And if you had a hand over here on your chest, on your ribs, you might find your ribs expand. And if you take a really deep breath in and you have your hand on your collarbone, you might find that lifting. And then on the exhale, everything just kind of goes away. Your hand comes in, your hand comes down. We just want to notice what we're doing as we breathe. And we want to let our breath get us to that kind of it's where we are paying attention to what we are doing. We don't care what our neighbors are doing. We're just paying attention to what we're doing. So let's take at least one long, deep breath. So put your hand on your belly, put your other hand on your chest, and then breathe in as fully as you can. And see if you can think about breathing and moving that bottom hand out. And maybe when you do that, all of the other parts of that full deep breath just regularly happen. Your ribs are widening, your chest is lifting. And now let's just sigh that exhale out. And you can feel everything just kind of softening back to normal. Let's open our eyes now, and we're going to let our breath just do whatever it says it wants to do. It may breathe fast, it may breathe slow, kind of depending on what we're doing. Let it do what it wants, and we're going to do a little yoga. So to begin with, if you've got that strap or a blanket or a tie or whatever else, and it's going to be, my camera isn't giving us enough room to show my arms all the way up. But what I'm going to do is take my hands about shoulder width apart, wrap my hands around my strap, and I'm going to push them up. Now, some of you may not get your elbows straight, and that's okay. But if we can, we're going to try to straighten our arms and reach up high. And then I want you to reach so high that your whole torso comes up. And then we're going to tip just a little bit over to first our right, and then back to center, and then over to our left, and back to center. We're going to do about 3 more, just reaching as far as you're comfortable. Don't tip out of your chair. And center, over to the side, and center. One last side stretch, and up, and side stretch, and back up, and then bring our hands down. We're going to give some attention to our neck, just to make sure that it's moving pretty good. So to begin with, let's just first look over the right shoulder, back to center, and then over the left shoulder. And I don't know about you, but I seem to be able to look over my right shoulder a little easier than looking over my left shoulder. And one more time, right, and then left. Now we're going to nod, like no, up and down, up and down. One more time, up and down. And then take your left hand, put it on the right side of your head, and we're going to let weight, just the weight of our hand, kind of move our head toward this left shoulder. And I'm going to take if I feel a stretch here, just doing this, that's fine. But if you don't really have much of a sensation of a stretch here, then let's just lift that arm, maybe just a little bit. And maybe you'll feel a little more stretch. And if that's too much, just put your hand back down. But if you like knowing that you're kind of stretching that side of your neck, then just let it go. We're not pulling our head over to the side. We're letting gravity and the weight of our hand do that. So let's bring our hands back to center, and we'll work on the other side. So hands on the right hand is on the left side of our body. We're looking for a little bit of a stretch right here. If we can feel that as our ear points to our shoulder, that's fine. If we don't really feel much, then lift that arm and let that, just move it until you feel a sensation of that stretching. And again, your head is just rest. It's just the weight, not pulling. And we'll take another breath. And we'll bring our hands back. Now, one of the things that you may notice about yoga is we do lots of breathing along with all the movements that we do. So right now, bring your hands just to your shoulders, and we're going to move our elbows back and move our elbows forward. Back and forward. Now, if it's awkward with hands here, you can do your hands in cactus. This is a cactus pose, kind of like our saguaros. And we bring our arms together, and then we move our arms back. And imagine that there is some really heavy air that you're working hard to press together. And then there's that equally hard, weighty air that you have to pull back. So moving forward isometrically, as though we were pressing and compressing the air between our hands, and then we move, reach, press back, trying to get that air behind us. One last time, reaching, pushing, slow. Oh, that's heavy. Just working so hard. And then just press against that heavy air. Press, 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 nice and slow, all the way back. And then let's bring our hands to our shoulders again and just move back and forth. So right now, we're only moving our arms, trying to keep our torso, as my shirt looks like I'm moving my torso, but I'm really only moving my arms. And let's kind of work those shoulders out for just a minute, kind of shake out your hands in case they got tired. And this time we're going to bring our arms back up into cactus. And we're going to take our whole body and look first to the right, come back to center, and we're going to move our whole body and look to the left and back to center. And try to keep your arms in that same plane. Don't bring those elbows want to come in and touch. But try to keep your arms open. And we'll look, turning our entire body to the right and to the left. And back to center. One more time. Reaching and back. Reaching and back. And just rest a moment. Okay, from here, we've moved pretty much all parts. So let's see what we can do with these hips. And you'll need to make sure that your feet are ready to move, or to kind of be a part of this movement. You're going to lift first one hip and down, and then lift the other. Hip tilts back and forth. And if it's easier to do them, lift that hip all the way up. Lift and down, lift and down, lift and down, back up and down, up and down, up and down. There's lots more things that we can do, but we're running out of time. So let's extend first one leg out, reach through your heel, press out through your heel. And maybe that leg won't come all the way up. Maybe it just comes up a little bit, and that's fine. So let's lift, press through the heel and down. Lift, press, and down. Lift on the inhale, down on the exhale. Lift on the inhale, down on the exhale. Lift and down. And I forgot, if we've done both of them the right number, even number of times, we'll stop now and just take a nice deep breath. Rest your palms on your thighs. And take a look at that breath one more time. Is it back that you're breathing fast, or are you breathing slow? We're taking the part of the class that I'm going to call Shavasana, which is just that last kind of moment in class where we let all of the movements that we've done during the class kind of let our body remember that the way they feel, so that that kinetic memory is there for the next time.